Right then, it's time to see if this piece of shit wants to play. I'll be honest with you, it's got a boost pack on it. I just turned the ignition before filming this, just to see if there's any. I've left the battery on it for over 6 months, and it's an old battery anyway. But it's fucked, so it's got a boost pack on it. We'll see if this battery comes back. So there is a boost pack connected under the boot, but I haven't had a go at cranking it or nothing like that. You're going to see that right now. The bastard ran out of petrol while I was moving everything round, and it was idling in the yard. But that's not a bad thing, because the petrol goes off after 6 months now from the pump, so at least we're going to have fresh petrol in. So we'll just chuck that in and then try again. Well, I'm 2 hours on now from pulling it out, where it just started up and it pulled out. In that time I've ascertained that the battery's fucked. It's an old one, I'm not bothered, I'll just get a new one. It's time I swap the battery tray. Looking at that, that's bad. It's got a small battery in it for tonight, which is just strapped down with a loading strap, so small luggage straps. I'm not going mad tonight. Just checked it over and give it a wash off. So quick run round. So obviously a Mk1 Escort. It was a rally car for a long period of its life. It's fully stiffened up because of that. It has a cage that runs behind the wings and everything. It's a proper job. It's strengthened up everywhere. Look in the corners, you'll see little strengthening plates everywhere. We're running a Harris. Here's a Harris Pinto. More on that later. It ain't really a Harris Pinto anymore. It's been in there a very long time, and it's failed a few times, and it's not really the engine it was. But it's not wild spec. It was never a wild spec one. Let's have a think. We run on a modified Dizzy, on electronic Dizzy. We have twin 45s, Spanish reissues, not as good as the originals, but perfect to fine. Harris inlet manifold, that's their design that they sell. A Harris 4 branch, which they sell, but it's just the same as many others. They're made at the same place. Block is 205 unleaded block. It's had nothing done to the block really. It's just got normal crank. It's got a light and flywheel. It's got a competition clutch. Rods are forged, pistons are forged, but just cheap, nothing special. The head is just a 205 injection head with about a mil took off it. It's got the standard EFI. It's got they made one cam profile that you could swap into the EFI engine running on the standard management all them years ago in the 90s. And it was an EFI Sport, it was called, the cam, and that cam gave you about 8 horsepower on the bog standard engine, on the bog standard map. It's very slightly different to the normal one. Well, it's got one of them, so it's the EFI Sport cam. It's got one of them, normal valve train, normal valves, but like I say, the head's been machined down, and that's to bring the compression up, and the compression sits on this. I used to know it off by heart. Got that many cars and that much time's passed, and then many cars have been in and out of my life and messing with other people's cars, but I seem to remember this was 10.5 to 1, and a normal unleaded Pinto was, I think it was about 9 to 1, 9.5 to 1, somewhere in the middle maybe. So the raised compression. Then it's got a decent multi-layer dead gasket, which it's got Group A studs like the turbo one I was talking about. It's got Group A bolts. It's got ARP rod bolts, I forgot that. It's got ACL race bearings in it. That's what it uses throughout. It's got plugs. I can't remember what heat range they are, but they're not normal. They're a little bit, the range is different because you just burn plugs out for fun. It's just because your static compression's raised, that's all. Like when you're using big boost, you have to go up in your plug. That's about it on the motor, on a quick run through. That's about it. Nothing. It's got a lightweight pulley, I forgot about that, for the alternator there. Crank pulley, lightweight. Probably something else. It's on a RS2000 style cross member. Polybushed. Can't remember what length them trumpets are. You'd think you'd have a problem with them coming that close to the inner wing, but you don't. I've seen them on other people's at Santa Pod and they're running fine, and this one's fine. It's not mad bonkers crazy. I've never had it on the dyno, but I think it'd make about, I don't know, around 180, 175, something like that. That's what I would estimate it at. I have got another one of these Harris Pintos, and that's a complete different kettle of fish, and I'll run through that another day. It's not in the car at the moment, but that's like the big power one, and I'll explain what they do to get that power out of it. It's kind of got the recipe from looking at them over the years now. This is also fire ringed as well. I've never done that before, but we fire ringed the block. So we had a machine, and we machined like a circle around the cylinders, and then we put a thick wire in that, and the head also has it machined in. And the idea is it just stops the head moving around. So it's got that done in this too, but it's totally unnecessary really. But it does mean you can absolutely razz it, and it just takes it. Whoops! It just takes it. So that's under the bonnet. It's got a Type 9 gearbox. Tunnel was made bigger to take that. It's all caged out from its rally days. In its rally days, it used to run a crossflow, 1600 crossflow. Inside, bare bones. Boost packs in it in case that battery gives me any shit tonight. Bare bones, no carpet, metal everywhere, rock hard seats, heavy steering. It just shakes your fillings and everything. It's wild. It's good. It's good. Plumbed in fire extinguisher that goes under the bonnet. ETC. The cage, which I mentioned. Got the crossbars off at the minute. The driver's crossbars off. They come off because it's just a bastard climbing over them. 2.5 inch exhaust straight through, single box. GRP 4 fabrications, tank in the boot, gold top, facet pump, fucking I can't think what the regulator's called. It's on a regulator with a filter. Fucking, it's about it really. There's not a great deal to it. There never is. Just keep them simple. It's a pretty quick. I'll start it up. The fuel regulator, I can't remember the make of it. It's Malpassi. Not that really matters. I've got wrote down somewhere all the jet sizes are used and everything, but can't think where that is. It's in the file for the car, I think. But that's it running. Runs lovely. See with that cam there, it's really responsive. That's why I used an EFI cam, because I was going to use it on the road. But if I was going to use this for something else like drag racing or something, I would just change the cam and you'd have a different, you know, it'd be a lot different. But that's great for the road. It's got that low down. The power band on an EFI cam's 2000 RPM to about 6.5, so it's a very wide power band, and even on the carbs it's responsive everywhere. Picks its toes up, it's not bad. That's it. I'm gonna go home in it and see if I make it back tomorrow. Then what I normally do is it'll get a service after that then, and it'll get a list wrote up of anything I think it needs, and I'll just do that, and that's about it. I've took this, I use it on the road a little bit now and again, but I used to take this on tracks. I've took this loads of tracks. I've took it on Santa Pod loads of times. I took it Mallory Park, I took it to Three Sisters in Wigan, I took it to Kerborough loads of times. So yeah, I've not been shy with it. Had a lot of fun with it. There you go, the Rotboxdriver's Mk1 Escort.